The news is just so awful.
Isn't it?
So awful. I feel like those Bebas little boys were like the face of this thing. And there are so many mothers who I know watch this show and who I talk to via Twitter and so on, who've just been praying, hoping beyond hope.
Yeah.
That maybe they were lying about the babies being dead. They've been claiming an Israeli airstrike killed them. There's zero evidence of that. We have every belief that Hamas did it, or their supporters.
No, the Israelis have evidence that they were executed. They were brutally executed.
The
Children.
reports online is that they were strangled. I don't know if that's...
I don't want to get into that level of detail for the sake of the families, but they were. This was not an errant airstrike.
It wasn't an errant. No. Exactly, that's the point.
And by the way, it wasn't that long ago that we had college campuses, professors, administrators literally celebrating Hamas, flying their flag,
saying they were
wearing their colors, cheering them on. And where are those people now? Are they still willing to step out with that despicable anti-Semitic?
I bet they are. I'll bet they are, because it's not like we didn't know on 10/8 and 10/9 and 10/10 of 23 what they had done. The reports of them burning babies were all over the airwaves, and they were still on the college campuses cheering this on.
Right.
There's something wrong.
And who does not and refuses to have a two-state solution? Hamas.
Yeah.
Right? They fully intend to have more October 7th if given the chance. So we have to get as many people out as we can.
These people cheering those two babies' coffins like it was Mardi Gras.
Right.
You think these are not people we can deal with. I don't blame Egypt and Jordan for not wanting them. We wouldn't take them. Why would we take them? So how on earth does Trump get any country to take that group of people long term?
Well, first, we have to address what has happened in the radicalization of a whole generation. And this was largely done under the auspices of the UN and UNRWA, who has UN-funded teachers in these schools teaching these children to not only hate Israel, but hate America and really just hate the world.
And to love death.
Yeah, and to love death. We also have them being rewarded and paid, financially incentivized to do this for the payments of families. That is often done with aid dollars. And one of the reasons that we once again have cut that back off and we've defunded UNRWA. So let's recognize that for what it is and one of the reasons that we have this problem. Megyn, what President Trump is speaking to is a practical reality. When we, looked at drone footage of Gaza, flying over the miles and miles and miles of just rubble. The place looks like Hiroshima. It has been devastated, coupled with no sewage, no water, unexploded ordnance everywhere, all from a war that Hamas started. But how do you rebuild that place with nearly 2 million people sitting on it? How do they even survive for the 10, 15 years it's going to take? So this is, once again, you don't like this plan of somehow offering these people a better solution, a better life that they've never really been offered. We understand the ideological and emotional attachment to the land, but this is just practicality. And if not the neighbors, then you have countries like Indonesia, you have countries like Malaysia, you have countries like Azerbaijan and others and this isn't mandatory, but it should be voluntary. If they want to leave and the entire world kind of heart breaks for these people, then let's step up and have real solutions. And what we saw after the visit of King Abdullah of Jordan was the Arab world is pulling people together. They're pulling themselves together and saying, okay, we're going to come to President Trump with an alternative plan.
Okay, tell me what happened there, because when Trump was like, Ghazi era, it'll be the Ghazi era. We're going to send them to Egypt and Jordan. We're going to rebuild it. It's going to be beautiful.
Beirut was called the Paris of the Mediterranean.
Alan Dershowitz, who's been going there for 60 years, is saying it was like Singapore. Could have been
I'll tell you
a totally
what happened. He
situation.
said, listen, so we're going to invest billions of dollars. The United States will somehow be a part of it. How do we prevent this insanity from happening all over again? Mm-hmm. So say you shift these people around, you clear the rubble, you invest billions to rebuild, and another October 7th happens, and here we are.
They're very determined to kill Jews.
We've been hearing the same old talking points for 70 years. And it keeps happening over and over again. So if he kind of shakes things up and proposes something radically new, which he did.
Yes.
But he
changes
also
the conversation.
sees.
But wait, that's what I'm going for.
But he also sees an opportunity, though, in that.
But this is my question to you: do you think what's happening now is what Trump intended to have happen, which is we're not necessarily going in there to build Gaza, but we were hoping to start a conversation where the Middle Eastern countries would say, we might have a better idea. Let us handle it and get a little bit more aggressive, which they've been hands-off about.
Both can be true, right? Both can be true at the same point. You can actually chart a vision to have, this beautiful piece of real estate right, just south of Beirut, which used to be called the Paris of the Mediterranean. If we clear up the security situation, we get the international community to actually fund the rebuilding. How do we prevent the same old thing from happening again? And how do we chart an actual positive future? And perhaps that has to kind of break some historic China. That's okay. Come back with a different plan. And that's what people are doing.
So does this thing go forward into phase 2 of the ceasefire? Because it turns out that Hamas did not return at least one of the bodies that they said they were going to, the mother of those 2 babies. Right. It was a different corpse. I mean, it's just sick.
And those literally those conversations, I'll see Bibi's national security advisor Monday. Now Ambassador Witkoff is talking to them today. I mean, this is a moving, fluid, hour-by-hour situation. And we need to get as many hostages out as we can. At the same time, we make sure Hamas never exists to do this again.
Which is trickier? Which situation that we spent this half hour talking about, keeps you up more at night?
I could see, thanks partially, well, they all do. Europe is going to be harder. I mean, that is a tough situation. And the president has said this as well. Iran is on its back foot. We have a historic opportunity in Lebanon now with our own government, Christian Arab-led government. We have the fall of Assad, the decimation of Hezbollah. We have a tremendous opportunity in the Middle East. We have to make sure that this never happens again to Israel, and we will always stand with them. But we can see that pathway to get back to where we were the first term, which was the Abraham Accords. And the more we get back to talking about data centers and fiber and infrastructure and those conversations that become bigger, these historic animosities become smaller and smaller. That pathway is going to happen. We just started this, first step of a process of bringing the war in Europe to an end and charting that future. We've seen the introduction of American leadership in the Western Hemisphere again, and that's from the Arctic all the way down to the border, down and taking on the cartels to the Panama Canal.
The Arctic, also known as our 51st state.
And also known as Greenland.
Right. It's a combo. They could be 51 and 52. We continue to face uncertainty when it comes to the economy, with a perfect storm brewing as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point as the largest generation is hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. You pair that with our growing national debt and rising cost of living, and we could have a big problem. So what are you doing now to protect your family for the future? Gold can be a safe haven in hard economic times, and Birch Gold makes it easy to diversify a portion of your savings into physical gold. Birch Gold will help you transition an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and it does not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text MK to 989898, get your free info kit on gold, and get a copy of the Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. Just text my initials MK to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.